It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
We are live on the BS3 Network. Cats Talk Wednesday. Terry TV Brown, Vinny Hardy. It's that time again, TV, man. How we doing?
It's hot, man. The corn is popping in the fields out here, man.
I believe it.
And now we got to deal with the corn sweats. I think I was telling you about this last year, where the corn absorbs the moisture and then it releases the moisture to make it really humid here. So it is a thing. So hot, but we making it.
There you go. So we full on summertime now. NBA is over. We got the draft tonight. I'm actually gonna watch a little bit of that. We got SGA making history from the Kentucky perspective.
Yeah.
We got Spurrier maybe stirred up stuff like he's been known to do. We got a little stuff to kick around tonight, man. You know.
Yeah, Spurrier being a jerk, that's just a day that ends in Y. You know, I get it if like he's good for college football. And leading off with that, I miss coaches that had personality. And with Spurrier gone and Mike Leach, God rest his soul, even Hal Mummy and just different things like that. Everybody just made this a business and made the coach a CEO. There's no, is Coach O, is Ed Ogeron kind of the last like really big personality coach?
And he's chilling now, right?
Yeah, he's chilling. So
he has some personality. They when LSU, who won their, we talk about our 50-11th everything. They got their 50-11th college baseball championship, and they played UCLA in one of the earlier games. So all the LSU fans had pulled a clip from when LSU played UCLA in football. Some UCLA fan was talking junk to Ogeron. He's walking in from the bus. Still got his suit on, and they had the clip of Ogeron saying, "Yeah, we're gonna beat you. You in your sissy blue shirt," because UCLA was wearing their powder blues.
Powder blues, yeah.
And so the LSU fans have done pieced it all together. But yeah, you could say Coach O, he might be the last of that dying breed. Well,
yeah.
If Dan Hurley don't go Bob Knight, he could maybe be that guy. But he got too much Bob Knight in him to me.
Yeah. And shout out to LSU. A lot of those anti-SEC tweets had to be kept in the draft, right? Like, the SEC got all these baseball teams, but only, 2 teams made it to the College World Series? But they won. Yeah. And my whole thing was, again, SEC, I don't usually get into all that SEC, but you can't talk about they got all these teams in, and because they were using that for the men's tournament. And I'm like, well, who won?
Florida.
Like, we got 10 teams in, we're half of the Final Four, and 100% of the champion. What am I missing? Like, what am I missing? Something specific? So shout out to LSU. Again, love seeing, I was going to say Rosenblatt, but that's the old stadium, Charles Schwab Field. LSU obliterated the field in the Jello Shot Challenge at Rocco's.
Oh, my God.
Look, I swung by there last year because I was like, I got to get in. Got to get in on that. The only thing is that place is wild as hell. And so I'm not a big Jello shot person, but thankfully they got where you can just I'm going to put 5 on Kentucky. And that's what I did. Right? Like they will just, you don't actually have to consume all the Jello shots because that's a lot. That's a lot of alcohol poisoning, but you can't put some money down on that. And shout out to Murray State for showing themselves quite well, not only on the field, but at Rocco's as well.
Yeah, they they had an early lead like the first day, right?
Yeah, and I think they finished above a couple of long-standing teams. I don't have it in front of me, but Murray State held it well. Because my thing is like, make it Bourbon, and we will be right there. Make it Bourbon, and we got it.
You know it. But, speaking of, man, Murray State, I'm glad you mentioned that because let's see if I can find it. I had it forever. But Murray State making the College World Series, I believe, kind of news happens and, somebody else might have done something stupid and then a bigger story breaks to take the heat off of you, that kind of thing. Well, this the dude, they call him Cowboy Cody, 40 years old, lives in Murray, and he got turned away from a bar. And so if they don't let you in the bar, this is not what the first thing that comes to my mind. Well, I've got this raccoon. I'm going to go get a raccoon and turn it loose in the bar that just wouldn't allow me in. That's what Cowboy Cody did. And this man's 40 years old. He wasn't 21, a fresh 21 doing this. That was his first thing. I'm going to go get this coon and turn it loose since they won't let me in. That's what he did. But Murray State making it to Omaha, I think, took a lot of light off of Cowboy Cody out there in Murray.
And it's crazy, right? That, back-to-back College World Series, Louisville, Kentucky, Murray. You look at, the volleyball side of things, Kentucky, Louisville. It's more than just basketball in Kentucky. I'm very proud of that. And for Murray to get there, to beat Duke on the way to the College World Series when Duke got one of those Duke calls.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, because there's no whistles in baseball. I didn't think you could get a Duke whistle in a baseball game.
They had to beat them twice.
Yeah, all right, man, whatever. But shout out to
they went to Ole Miss before that. They had to win the regional at Oxford. Ole Miss they come out the rugged SEC. You had to go down there and beat them, then turn around and go to Durham and beat Duke, man. And little bitty Murray, that was,
I tip my hat.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read about Jonathan Mason, aka Cowboy Cody, was arrested for throwing a raccoon into a bar, riding a malnourished mule inside, and leading police on a drunken mule chase. Now that's what was going on. Most of Murray was in Omaha, but he was out there just,
My only question is, mules don't run fast. How is this a chase?
A malnourished mule too.
Every mule I've ever seen moseys. I've never seen one run. They mosey and sashay. And how you get a mule to do what you want it to do, because that's how we got the phrase stubborn as a mule. So I got a lot of questions when I see stuff like that. How is he leading the chase?
There's a lot going on there, man. A lot going on.
Y'all ain't got cars in Murray? Come on. All you need is somebody with some track shoes to go get it. What are you doing?
A lot going on.
Shout out to Murray.
Yes, and our homie Kendrick Haskins, a Murray State alum, so he was proud of his racers. So, that's all the stories about how small they were and how small the field was, and it's like when some little school makes it to March Madness for the first time, the same thing. So the whole city was just on fire, and just we know how happy we were when Kentucky made it. So, and then Murray gets to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
So congratulations to him. Oh, well, we hit Spurrier too already, and Spurrier been a jerk, but is he wrong knowing what he's saying? He loves to be that, and it's funny even when he's picking on your team. But half the time, he's throwing shade at Arch Manning this time. Is he wrong though?
Hey, all I'm gonna say is though, Steve Spurrier, that's all well and good, but Archie Manning is still around, and I'm waiting for him to walk up on you. That's
what I'm saying.
I let you slide talking about my son. coming back to Tennessee so he could be the 3-time MVP of the Citrus Bowl. I let that slide, but now you're talking about my grandson. You gonna have to see me at some point. You're gonna have to see me.
That's what I'm saying. And Archie is just the epitome of dignity and class, and never, gets his feathers ruffled. Never, that guy. You've seen all the documentaries. We've seen the Book of Manning. We've seen the clip of them asking 3-year-old Peyton, which as a dad, who's your favorite player, Peyton? And he goes, my dad. And you an NFL quarterback. He could have said like Earl Campbell. He could have said like Tony Dorsett, but no, he went, my dad. That's gotta hit you, man.
Yeah.
Because there's kids out here like Dwayne Wade's kids. D Wade wasn't even his kid's favorite player. Stuff like that. So if I made the NFL, Mike and Chandler would probably like CMC or Micah Parsons. They would. Right. I wouldn't be their favorite. I'm just saying.
Right. Right.
Would you be Lauren and Sarah's favorite if you were in any pro sport? Would they be like, nope, Terry Brown is my favorite?
Oh no, they'd have other fans because I tell you, I thought about signing up for an old man basketball league.
Yeah.
And coming out of retirement here for the summertime, but they play on Wednesdays, and I got this. But that one league I was playing in, Lauren was heckling me. I was helping her with her math. She's like, "Oh, you 1 out of 3. That's 33% or 1/3." I know what math is and is not. Oh yeah, heckling. But if I was in the NBA, she'd still be heckling, and I'm like, I gotta get these numbers up to pay for that private school now. Like, I need to. If I ain't your favorite, I need to be your top 5.
You gotta be somewhere.
Come on now,
give me something.
Because look, I'm gonna tell you something. If I was playing basketball and I'm for the Lakers, don't walk in here with no Celtic stuff. Like, you can pick somebody else. Hey, I ain't having it. If I'm playing for the 49ers, you can't have we have no Cowboy stuff up in this house.
Yeah, exactly.
You can pick anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
If you say this person's your favorite, maybe I will have that person come to the house for your birthday.
Yeah.
But not a Celtics person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You gotta draw the line. Don't bring a Tatum jersey in the house, baby. You can't.
No, man. Because I had somebody ask me once, because I got jerseys. Everybody knows I got a lot of random ones. Like, you didn't get a D Brown jersey? I was like, what the hell for? Like, no. But the one jersey I missed out on was Dave Brown, the quarterback for the Giants.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I saw that one in East Bay. That's taking it back. And I was like, I know that's going to be the most random jersey ever. That's one of those things. If I could go back in time, that one, because people be like, "Who the hell is that?" That's one of those deep cuts, like we were talking about with our man Craig. He's like, "What's the most random thing you got?" I was like, "I could have had a Dave Brown jersey."
Yeah, that's man, and he started for a minute for them.
Yeah,
number 17 or something.
Number 17, yeah. That's a deep cut right there.
Yeah, that really is. I put a little poll out, or I think I did, or about to, just on the Spurrier stuff, because in a nutshell, Spurrier, in his Spurrier way, is saying everybody already giving Arch Manning the Heisman. If he was so good, why did Quinn Ewers start over him last year? And he was just a 7th round pick. So to me, that's hilarious. There's accuracy to it. If I'm Archie, I might have to be like, hey, because we're not grandparents, but every grandparent we know say there's something different about the grandkids.
Yeah.
They treat the grandkids different. They treat their own children. All the children like, who is this my parent interacting with this child that I brought into the world? What happened to you? Oh. We've seen that countless times. So I think if Archie was ever going to lose it and throw hands, Spurrier talking about Arch might be the thing to just set them off.
Because grandparents will yell at you for disciplining your kids. One of the girls did something at my parents' house. My dad said, no, don't yell at her. I said, well, wait a minute now. What the? Yeah, grandparents is different. So, hey, Arch might have to go, Archie might have to go see Steve Spurrier. Like, hey, you may be accurate, but keep my grandkids' name out your mouth.
Keep Arch's name out your mouth. Exactly. Now, you being the baby, I bet they probably said, your brothers probably said, oh, you got it easy. It was you, because I mean, I was the oldest, but you were, or were they? Could they see differences in Mama B and Papa B with you as opposed to them?
Oh yeah, and the thing is, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I think everybody experiences their parents differently. Oldest, youngest, boy, girl. I think you get different parents. Now, with my family, there's a 17-year gap. My brothers are both born in 1960. I was born in 1977. Mm-hmm. Yes, I got different. I got back in the 90s with George H.W. Bush, a kinder, gentler parent. But when it comes to my dad, there's a caveat. Like Mike Tyson may not be the boxer he once was, but he still ain't the dude you want to mess with.
Okay.
When I came along with my parents, my dad said, look, I got to be close to a teenager. He said, look, I'm only going to tell you once. I ain't got it in me to go back and forth. You get one shot, like quoting Manil. He's like, and that's it. And I still did stuff with my dad. We played catch for a little bit. We do something for a little bit. Yeah. And some of those days I'd be like, boom, he'd be like, oh, this is what we're doing? I'm out. Like, all right. Hey, my dad was 40 when I was born. And I cannot imagine at, 47? I can't imagine having a 7-year-old right now. I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
So I look back on my parents. I'm like, hey, I don't know how y'all did it. Because a 7-year-old right now, oh, good Lord Almighty.
So your tightrope was different. You only had one mess up, whereas your brothers got the back and forth. Your brothers got them in their prime. Your brothers got, I'll bust you up and ask questions and listen later. So I see that. Like Lou Rowe and all them say Cal was different at Kentucky than he was with them. Say, that kind of stuff.
It changes. My dad's like, I ain't got. He's like, because at that point, I'm getting ready to become a teenager. He's like, hey, he had already had like one stroke. He had some high blood pressure stuff. It's like, I ain't got it like I used to. Mm-hmm. So I have to go from 1 to 10. Ain't no in betweens. I can't shift gears. So when you cross lines, I gotta come like that. Yeah. But my brother kid was like, oh, you got a kinder, gentler dad. Like, okay. Like I believe from your point of view it's different, but let me just tell you something. He ain't lost a lot off that fastball. Let me just be honest with you.
Exactly. So I put the little poll out. Let's see here. At Cats Talk Wednesday. How y'all feel about the Spurrier Arch Manning stuff? Archie needs to check him. Spurrier's shade is accurate. So it's gonna be up for a few days. So whatever y'all.
You need all the above. Like, it's an accurate statement to not be able to beat out a 7th round draft pick to Heisman. That is a wild jump. Because like he hasn't played that much. Like, he's played a little bit, but we have seen people have flashes. But that doesn't mean you're gonna be the Heisman Trophy winner.
That's it. He gonna have the keys to the car and the pressure of that last name and that lineage. So. We'll see if the young fella's ready for it.
Right.
We mentioned LSU on the baseball side with the SEC. Texas comes in year one on the softball side and wins the SEC. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma and their 50-11 finally got beat. Texas Tech took them out. Texas beat them along the way, but I bet part of Texas wishes they could have got them in the final and really, but hey, they gave them 1 L. Texas Tech finished them off, and then they beat Texas Tech. So SEC sweeps the softball and the baseball, and that just makes the league that much tougher. Coach Lawson is gonna have a much tougher league to go against next year, and Coach Lynn, same thing. So,
Coach Pope and all of them got to deal when Texas shows up, and Oklahoma especially in women's softball. Ain't no easy outs, man. No. There's nowhere to catch your breath.
It's just constant, man. It's just that gauntlet just keeps getting tougher and tougher, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You mentioned no asterisks for the finals. The Thunder. Basically the best team all year, but he won almost 70 games.
Yeah.
Hardly ever lost back-to-back games. If they lost and they came out and got a win. I'm with you. We talked about before we started about how they shouldn't have an asterisk. I say there could be maybe a what if.
Yeah.
Because Halliburton was cooking. I picked the Pacers in 7, so I had to, of course, stick with my guns in Game 6 because, first of all, a lot of people, Thunder in 5, Thunder in 6, and I picked the Pacers in 7. I just didn't see them running over the Pacers like everybody thought, and the Pacers weren't as big of a underdog as everybody was trying to make them out to be.
Right.
They started off slow. They had some injuries to start the season. Once they got right, they was one of the best teams second half of the season. Just as good as anybody. You wonder though. He had already popped 3 threes that first quarter, and he was cooking. They had the lead, and it was it would have been, it was just brutal to see him get hurt. Another Achilles injury. Put him with Lillard and Jason Tatum, and then you knew with the calf strain, it's possible. Can he get through 2 more games, and can he get through? And he just wasn't able to. Man, that was.
Yeah, it's sad. There's no asterisks because you can almost go through any champion at any point and be like, well, if not this, they wouldn't have won. Like that's because the margins are so thin. You could almost any team that wins, like the Lakers in 87 or 88. I'm sorry, Isaiah's not playing Game 7, right? No asterisks there.
And they won that game by 3. It's like 108, 105.
Yeah, it was.
I was pulling so hard for Detroit.
Right, a questionable call, but they got the comeback in '89 because, like I was telling you, like there's no asterisk because Magic hurt his hamstring in Game 2 of the finals.
Yeah,
Byron Scott hurt his hamstring. I think it was Game 1. It might have been the Western Conference Finals, but that's your starting backcourt.
Yeah,
and I understand how important Halliburton was to what Indy was doing. My point is, it's Magic Johnson, who was 2 years away from being the NBA MVP, and him going out with his hamstring, that's a big deal. Here we are, 5-6 years later, Toronto winning, and we talk about Toronto winning, but we've kind of, Kevin Durant went out, Klay Thompson went out, like it happens. Like injuries suck, but that's part of it, right? Like that's why when people completely dismiss, I see you got your Rockets jersey on, those 94, 95 Rockets, because that dude was playing baseball, that is an additional 40-something games for those dudes to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The biggest thing of those Bulls three-peats is they didn't have any injuries.
Nope.
That's the thing. And I think different teams you can talk about, hey, if it wasn't for this injury, what could have happened? A few years ago, my Niners, Purdy gets hurt, second or third drive of the game against Philadelphia, right? And then was it Johnson, the backup quarterback, he goes out with a concussion.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, well, maybe, but they try to put the QB radio in CMC's helmet. I'm like, oh, that's a wrap. Like, what? Like, okay, so stuff happens. It's just and it sucks, but it's just part of sports, man. Like I talking to the missus about the 2016 Cubs. Roy Wood Jr. thought about the rain delay in Game 7 that gave the Cubs, that gave them time to kind of get their head right. Without the rain delay, do they win Game 7 on the road, right? So there's what we don't really talk about is sometimes there's randomness to who wins, and I think we need to step away from the rings culture, because if a championship can put an asterisk on it, then why do we talk about ring culture? You see what I'm saying? Like if we talk about dudes have to be the guy to win, well, he won, But no, like not like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. Like, again, the Rockets' 2 championships are just as valid as anybody else's.
Yep.
And I dare say the Lakers in 2020 just as valid as everybody else. I don't care that it was a bubble. I don't care it was at Disney World. Were other teams competing to win?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did other teams have an opportunity to win the championship?
Sure it is.
And if the answer is yes, how is it not legitimate?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they count SGA, like I put out there on my socials, kind of crazy that I got to cover that guy at Kentucky.
Yeah, man.
Like, had no idea. And as Randy from Big Blue Space, like, well, you drove out to the Boise. I'm like, oh yeah, that was that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which was a nervous game. That game against Davidson was tight early in the second half. And I'm like, if they lose, I'm going to make one shot in moment because they're going to show my face from press row, bawling my eyes out. For that.
That would have been the clip. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we got to Boise in enough time to go to the stadium for the game. Like, we cut it close. Almost did. Like, anyway, SGA, a great season, scoring leader, regular season MVP, finals MVP.
Mm-hmm.
So he's put himself on a short list, and now we got to do that thing where we got to rank everybody. And Brian Windhorst, Akeem's 94 season, man, like we talked about coming, like MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP.
Third in the scoring race.
Without another dude.
Yeah.
Because in 94, like we talked about, who was Akeem's number 2?
In 94.
Kenny Smith? A rookie Sam Cassell? Like, what like?
Yeah.
Because Jordan had Pippen. And whether or not where you think Pippen is on the chart there, Hakeem didn't have that.
Right. And Pippen was definitive number 2 on the Bulls.
Right.
Whatever you say about him historically. But yeah, it was just a collection. You know, Mario at the 3 against Phoenix, Otis Thorpe rebounding and kind of doing some dirty work. Kenny, spotting up, catching and shooting.
Yeah.
That was Cassell was clutch for a rookie, man. His first 2 years, he was Robert Horry. Yeah. And he was young. This was, he was first, second year in the league too.
It was Akeem and some grinders.
Yeah,
and we don't talk about that enough. Which leads me to the reason I've got on my Kobe jersey is I know you've seen people, all these folks in the NBA circles talking about, well, anybody could have won with Shaq. Having Shaq was a cheat code. And one, I'm not arguing if your birth year starts with a 2. I'm not here for it. I'm not here for what you think, because that 2000, 01, 02, I watched all playoff games and 80% of regular season games. And yes, having Shaq be that dominant, did it help? Yeah. The problem is Shaq, one, couldn't shoot free throws.
Right.
And in a close game, you couldn't run the offense through him. Why? Because he couldn't shoot free throws. That's one. So somebody had to be the closer. And people are like, well, that's easy. Is it really easy to close out the Tim Duncan Spurs? Is it really that easy to close out finals games? Is it? Because I've seen a whole lot of people that can't do that. And so I get frustrated because I'm like, I was here for that. I watched it all. And in the fourth quarter, it was like, Kobe, bring it home. And like, oh, that's easy. Is it? No, it's not. Shaq fouled out a lot too.
Yep.
Because it was, was it against the Pacers in Game 6, where that's when I was like, okay, Kobe because no Shaq, overtime, in Market Square Arena, and Kobe's like, I got it.
He did.
And y'all think, and y'all think anybody could walk in and do that? No, no. And it's shameful that all these people that praised him when he retired and the mama mentality and all this kind of stuff, now it's basically you could have plugged anybody in there and won. No. And look, Kobe, he's my guy. I'm gonna be up front after Magic. Kobe's my guy. He wasn't perfect, but he was built to close out finals games. He was built for that. Luckily for him, 08, 09, 10, go back to the finals 3 straight times. Because really, talk about that 06 game against against the Suns. He took 3 shots in the second half, scored 1 point on a technical free throw. And I was like, man, if that's the way it goes down, if that's your end, but luckily able to bounce right back, But you put Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady was great.
Yeah.
Tracy McGrady was really, really good. But Kobe's doing all that, closing out these games, and he's first team all defense. Don't get it twisted, right? Because at the time, and I've seen these clips online, at the time, the talking heads were like, oh my goodness. What is he doing during the first three-peat? But now we got a retcon. Oh, you could have plugged in anybody.
Man, that's crazy.
Because my thing is, if having Shaq was such a cheat code, he just got 1 without Kobe. Kobe got 2 without him. And having Shaq, like Penny was first team All NBA, didn't win in '95. When Shaq went to Miami, they won the 1, but they didn't close out in 05. So if having Shaq was that easy, why then you got to put Shaq on the list. If you're talking about having Shaq on your team as an automatic championship, then Shaq needs to be higher on the all-time list. If that's the way y'all feel.
Yeah.
So I'm a ride for Kobe, but I'm not engaged. And who's talking about it? Tracy McGrady. And he's probably got some, like, I could have done more. I'm like, bro, you had Yao Ming. Like, you talk about Shaq and Kobe, McGrady and Yao. I know I'm not trying to bring up pain, right?
Yeah.
But McGrady never got out of the first round.
Yeah.
With Yao up 3-1 with a Baron Davis out in Charlotte. Love Baron Davis, but I think he had just come back from some injury. Like, you let that dude play you off the court? And so it's Tracy McGrady, it's Gilbert Arenas, like it's all these dudes that didn't do nothing. They got these podcasts. I'm like, what y'all talking about? What y'all don't know about? That's my only thing. So I'm a ride for Kobe till the wheels fall off. That's my dude, warts and all, right? Like I'm gonna be the first one to say that 06 against the Suns, like it was a 30-point game. Right? Like the Suns, it was never really in doubt. But I'm like, I want my dudes to go out shooting, guns a blazing. Don't get conservative in that. Like, if we're gonna lose by 30 anyway, I'm getting these shots up before I go to my off season. Right? Like the Denzel meme, I'm leaving here with something. Like I may not win, but we're gonna do something out of this. But we don't have to rewrite history, particularly because, like I said, I watched those games. Like you're not going to tell me I watched all those games.
No.
Staying up on those West Coast games, like we talk about.
Yo, man, yeah.
All because it was the 2010 championship. Lauren was a newborn, and for whatever reason, she would wake up in the third quarter. I would check on her, begin the game. You sleep, baby? Okay, cool. I would check on her at halftime. Okay. Third quarter, Beans working or whatever. So I just started bringing her out, doing the rocking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, having to watch the finals and cheer for your team with a newborn,
Mm-hmm.
not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, man.
Because in one of those games, because I know the finals aren't that late, but one of those Western Conference playoff games, I had to go outside because I was like, I had to go celebrate, but I couldn't wake nobody up. Which is one of the benefits of now being in the Central Time Zone. It's not that bad. But back to Shea, great run. Like I tweeted, like we kind of talked about last week, we got to talk about where he goes in Kentucky greats.
Yeah,
because he got some stuff ain't nobody else got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, MVP, a scoring title,
Finals MVP. Like he come with some hardware.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's 26. He's 26. And look, I'm a Rockets fan, as we all know. That Sam Presti kind of got them set up for long-term success. They still got a billion picks.
Yeah,
they still stocked up. It's not apron time yet. They got a lot of guys that's already situated, and so
and I think Shea is still dealing with where he was ranked in high school, right? Because I see some of these folks like, oh, the Thunder, blah 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 blah. If he had been a top 5 pick, he would be viewed differently. The same way,
11th.
Yeah. If he had been a more ballyhooed recruit, and I just want to tell folks, because a lot of folks like Coach Cal didn't start until January. Like, did anybody know he was going to be like this? Like, yeah. I know we got to poop on the old guy, but like, did anybody see this coming? Because once he was like, oh, okay, he gave Shea the keys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so,
but where saw the Tennessee fans talking about, he got his behind whooped, and they did sweep the regular season for one of the rare times. But then they failed to mention that, Shea dropped 30 on them in the SEC tournament championship game, and the Cats won that game. That'd be like us mentioning that, we swept y'all, rah, 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 and forgetting that they beat us in the tournament. That's essentially what they did. Yeah, he had his one and done season. This the big UT account. Everybody sees him out there. Yeah. I never interacted with him. Just remind you that what happened to him. And he's just gonna conveniently not mention what happened in the SEC tournament. Come on, dude. Come on, man.
Yeah. Shea sent you home, but good for him. And shout out to Cason Wallace, who I think is going to fall in that. He's in that window when the team success wasn't what we expected, that we kind of forget about those players.
Mm-hmm.
But Cason was doing what he did in Kentucky. Was it game 5? One of those games, he came out banging threes. I was like, okay. And he was playing defense.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think he's going to be one of those guys that kind of gets forgotten in the shuffle. And, he may not be a 1A, or, a 1 or 2, but he showed what he could do in his role. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to give some grace to you don't have to be the Sheas or the Anthony Davises or even the Jamal Murrays. Like, playing 10 years in the NBA is an accomplishment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which Jody Meeks did that. Tony Duck did that.
Yes.
Just
because McCarty had a run too.
Uh-huh.
So Patrick Patterson, of course, Muhammad, it was in there forever. Because when he used to play, I was like, we the same age, and how are you doing this? My knees ain't doing like that no more. But, and now Trey Lyles is the captain of my guys I forget about that went to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because he pops up, I'm like, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Fox and Monk aren't quite all-stars. Like, hey, whatever, man. They in the NBA for a while. Like, that's a win, baby. That is an ultimate win.
Yeah. And a full season of Fox and Wemby. Hey, if that goes like we think, I mean, they got new coach and all that, but And whoever they got that the Castle kid from UConn, the young kid they got on there, and I think they drafted high tonight. I think they got the second pick.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and Spurs fans like, oh, we hope for some good luck. Hey, 30 years of fandom, and y'all got 3 unicorns. Calm it down.
Yeah.
You ain't never gonna see me as a Lakers fan. I hope we can pull something out. I hate that with fan bases. I just hate get out. Oh man, Dodgers fans. I hope we have some luck. Get out of here with that. Pain as being a Dodgers fan isn't really. And I'm coming after some of your Braves fans. Oh, I'm sorry, you just won a World Series a couple years ago. Yeah, you're getting Acuna coming back. Oh, poor Braves fan. Boo to who? Come on, man.
It's been a struggle this year, TB. It's been a real. We started 0-7. And we just basically played 500. We're still 7 under 500. This is not what we're accustomed to, TB.
I get it.
Should already be in first by 10 games over the Phillies and the Mets, and the division should all be wrapped up before the All-Star break. Come on.
It just proves my point that all sports fans are miserable. The only time a sports fan is truly happy is when the confetti's coming down. Not while there's confetti on the field, because when there's confetti on the field or the court, we're looking toward next year. But as it's actively coming down, there's sports fans are only happy that moment between when the last out or the buzzer sounds and the trophy presentation. After that, ain't nobody happy.
Yeah.
Everybody's just as woe as no, man. I'm not no. I'm not. I'm not saying that to any specific man. I'm saying that to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only window that sports fans are happy. I follow a lot of Cubs fans, right? Still, I think best record in the National League. You wouldn't know it from the tweets during the game, which is why I got off that baseball narcotic, man. Because I'm 162 games is too long to be miserable. That's over half the year being miserable.
Yeah.
And y'all living and dying over every pitch.
Yeah.
And it's 120 pitches per game times 162 games. That is a lot to be miserable. Why are you doing that? And my wife's like, well, you understand, giving up a hit to somebody doesn't hit well. That's baseball, baby. Baseball, you cannot be this focused on baseball. You'll drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Because best case scenario, your team wins 100 and loses 62.
Yep.
That is still 2 months, 62 calendar days of being miserable.
Yeah.
I can't live like that.
Uh-huh.
The only thing I focus on like that is Kentucky men's basketball. I'm going to sit there every dribble. But that's the only capacity I have is for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to watch football and hope they win.
Uh-huh.
Watch everything else. I hope they win. But I'm going to live and die Kentucky men's basketball. That's my vice. Lakers, I don't even know if I've watched 40 games over the last 30 years. No, over the last 2 or 3 years. I catch it when I catch it. I've watched the highlights. I'm not sitting watching. But Kentucky men's basketball, yes, I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I got folks that they live and die on Kentucky basketball, and then they're Bengals fans, and then they're Reds fans. And I'm like, that feels miserable.
Uh-huh.
That, and it's just come on, man.
Yo.
And if you notice, the only time I tweet anything about the Cubs win is when they beat the Reds. If you go through my tweets, the only time I say fly the W is when they beat the Reds. A few people have figured that out. I'm not really a Cubs fan, but I just do that because I know y'all are Cincinnati fans.
Yeah, just be sticking it to them. Yeah, man, this. What about us in Cincinnati, man?
I'm telling you, if had the 49ers beat the Rams and then beat the Bengals in that Super Bowl, it was going to be a wrap for me because I'd be like, nah, because I would have been 3-0 in the Super Bowl against the Bengals. Yeah, I would. Yeah, what? No Bengal fan listen to this show? Follow me on Twitter because I had it loaded. And just to let you know, God don't like ugly. Because I was ready.
then there would have been asterisk people coming out saying the 49ers shouldn't even be able to claim them. They beat the Bengals 3 times. You know,
and look, you can only beat who's in front of you, right? You know, and it's like looking back at the 98 championship run. I say this all the time because somebody had put up, you know, a game that people forget about was the 98 national semifinal against Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
It was an overtime game and a Pete Sauer heave that hit rim and backboard and bounced off for going different. But I say that to say, had Duke been like, of course, the championship game or even the Final Four, I think we feel differently because Stanford and Utah aren't sexy names.
Yeah.
And you have to explain to people, like, at that point, they were very, very good to elite programs. Because, you know, Utah hate to see us coming.
Yeah. Sure it is.
Because one of Kate's Twitter buddies is a Utah alum. Yeah, okay. Utah alum, Utah fan about our age. And, you know, we had a nice discussion. He's like, we hated y'all. We hated Kentucky because no matter where Utah was, they got it.
Yeah, they sure did. But you're right about that heave because it was very close. A lot of people, you know, I remember being scared in 98. Yeah, well, 98 with the Duke game because William Avery would have heave that wasn't as close as the Sauer heave. Sauer was even more of a, we could have really just lost on that. But yeah, it was 2 heaves with us with 2-point leads. That was a 1-point game in Stanford, right? 85-84, 86-85, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, 2, you know, we've been in Kroger Field and you know, Hail Mary or the ball's in the air, you got to have a deflection to win. Those 2 heaves in the tournament, deep in the tournament, and we get holding our breath to see.
Yeah. And you know, and that's one of those things. It balances out. Like Kentucky, we've had some losses, but you know, I'm sure there are people that are cursing Aaron Harrison, that are cursing. Man. You don't think Aaron Kraft is cursing Brandon Knight? Like, you like, and that's the thing is when you're as good as Kentucky men's hoops has been, you've broken more hearts than you've had your heart broken. You know, and you got to appreciate that. Like, I'm here in Iowa. One of their best teams ever was it 98? I'm trying to remember what year it was. And friend of the show, Adam Jacoby's talking about this was everything had lined up for Iowa this year. They'd finished like second in the Big Ten and they'd come to the tournament. And it was 98. We played them like the second round. And he's like, oh, they was fired up. And he's talking about this game, and Vinny, I didn't remember it, but I'm like, I don't think I watched the first 2 rounds of the tournament in the 90s. Like, why am I going to rearrange my schedule for that? And he was talking about the game. I went to bigbluehistory.net, and I'm like, oh, it was closer than I remembered, but I don't remember watching that game.
Yeah.
Why are we circling the wagons for a second round game?
Because we know we got bigger fish coming.
Like, why are we doing it?
The next weekend to get ready for, you know.
I don't start paying attention till it's the Sweet 16, which I know sounds bad, but
it does.
In the 90s, that's what it was like. I mean, we would have it on, like I was, but I'm gonna sit down and watch a first round game.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Not when we go to 3 straight title games.
Just destroying people, you know.
Yeah,
absolutely. Michelle ringing in. Happy hump day.
Happy hump day to you.
The main man, Big Ben.
Thanks for listening. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, as y'all always know. TB man, your W, particularly your Fever, your team making a transaction had to, you know, DB is no longer in Indy.
Yeah, man. And look, I wish her well. You can't quit on your team like that. And that's what happened. And Fever fans are allowed to feel a way about it. But a lot of people scold like, well, like, look, when people lose the point when somebody says, hey, Bonner could have handled this differently. And then your response is, well, she's a 2-time champion, a 5-time All. Okay, I don't need a resume. But this was unprofessional. And for them to say, well, it happens in men's sports, and we yell at those quitters too. Like, you don't think that Sixers fans don't say bad things about Ben Simmons?
No, man.
You as a Rocket fan, were you cool how James Harden quit on the team? Like, Antonio Brown, we talk about him skipping it. Like, I try to stay above the W, but it's the most. They stay unserious, man. Like, I want them just to be like a real league and do real things, because they get people that leave during the middle of the season to go do other stuff, and then they come back. I don't understand. I don't knock it. I don't understand it. Like, I'm still trying to understand how the league works and all this kind of stuff. But my biggest gripe is the scheduling.
Okay.
For instance, on Sunday, they had 3 games at the same time leading up to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And it's like, but then no games on Monday. Like, y'all can't stagger? Like, I don't get it. And just last night, they had 3 games at the exact same time. And I don't get that aspect of it, but
that's half the league, right? 12-team league.
13. They just added the Valkyries.
13. Oh, okay.
And then Portland and Toronto are getting teams as well.
So that'll give them 15. They still have an odd number of teams.
Yeah. But Caitlin is in a slump. I think she's won for her last 20-something threes. She doesn't look 100%, but I'm not trying to diagnose anything. But they won comfortably last night against the Storm. Skylar Diggins, she's balling out there in Seattle. But Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, hey, I've been watching bigs for a long time, and she got really good footwork and touch around the rim. So the Caitlin Aaliyah pick and roll is the most effective play in all of the WNBA. Like, it is because you got to honor both of them. Pick and roll, pick and pop, and all that kind of stuff. Had me out here because my wife's not a basketball person, so I'm trying to bring her around and understand it, pick and roll. And I had to show some Stockton Malone pick and roll. I didn't want to, but I had to just to show what I was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. They did that well, but yes. There's some old clip on YouTube. This is like Bird and Parrish and McHale, and
I showed that too. It's Bird, Parrish, McHale, and Danny Ainge with Auerbach breaking it down. Yeah. So I'm showing her that. I showed her the clip of Larry Bird going in during that 3-point shooting contest. Which one of you bleeps is coming in second? Because I saw a comedian talking about that one time, talking about y'all young kids don't understand how cold Larry Bird was. This white man walked into a room full of brothers and said, which one of you is coming in second? And nobody fist fought it. Like, that's how cold he was. And the worst thing you could do with Larry Bird was guard him with a white man.
Yeah.
Which
took that personally.
Which it appears that Cooper Flagg is going to be the first American-born white player to be drafted number 1 since Kent Benson. And do you know about Kent Benson?
But we talking about the Kareem clip.
The first highlight of Kent Benson's career was as a rookie. He elbowed Kareem, and Kareem broke his face. And you're like, man, that's a rough start. The second thing to know about Kent Benson is he was at IU when Larry Bird went to IU, and as legend says, gave Larry Bird hell, and Larry Bird went to Indiana State. And then in 1985, the Celtics are playing the Pistons. the first time Larry Bird gets to play against Kent Benson, this is important. He was a power forward, Benson was, guarding Kevin McHale, and Larry Bird assisted Kevin McHale into setting a Celtics franchise record 56 points because Kent Benson was guarding him.
Yeah.
Which is, of all the Larry Bird stories, that's my favorite because he's like, I'm not going to do it. My boy's going to do it to you. And I'm like, that is diabolical.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Kent Benson is doing now, but he got punched by Kareem, and Larry Bird showed him up. Hey, there you go, Kent Benson.
And this is 85.
Yeah.
Like, Bird been in the league since 79. So
but
Benson couldn't even make the play. This is his first time like getting to the playoffs, or first time.
I think it was the first time that their paths crossed, and Bird's like, "Yep, tonight's the night." And just
he just had that fouled away.
and look, that's the thing. Let me just say this a little bit about, because talking about white basketball players, Caitlin Clark. Number one, does she talk trash? Absolutely. And this is what I try to tell people: her core fans understand she talks trash because that's why we're here. When she got that thing going and she's playing to the crowd, that's why we're here. She's not a shrinking violet. Okay, that's first off. But I've seen people talking about Larry Bird didn't talk trash. I'm like, are you sick in the head? What are you talking about? The best Larry Bird stories come from Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah.
Because you remember there's that clip where he got it going against Atlanta and the Hawks bench is cheering.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Got fined for it. Fratello fined them after the game because they were fans over there.
Larry Bird was cold and he talked all kinds of trash.
They was falling all over each other like, oh, he just.
So all I'm saying is be consistent. Is there trash talking to basketball? Yes. Does Clayton Clark do it? Yes. Did Larry Bird? Absolutely. And on top of all that Larry Bird stuff, on the Dream Team, talking trash to Rodney Rogers during that second practice after they won, after the college kids won, that's when he's like, 2 dribbles going right off glass. Boom. Fake left. Go. Like, told him what he's going to do and did it. Like, Larry Bird's different, man. Mm-hmm. So you young kids that think he's just getting hyped up because he's a great white hype. No, he was that good. And this is me as a Lakers fan talk about that dude was cold. Toe down ball, which when you come in second, and didn't take off his warm-up jacket.
That's it.
He's like, because there's a clip, there's Craig Hodges talking about that, who was a great three-point shooter in his own right.
Yeah.
But Craig Hodges talking about, he walked in, said, who's coming in second? He said, he went down the line. He said, oh, no, you tired yourself out during warm-ups. You ain't doing nothing. Your leg. Like, critiqued everybody and was right. Larry Bird was a psycho.
And shot the last one and just threw up his number one.
And just walked off like, I ain't got nothing else to do. Hey, that dude was cold, man. Like, I don't care what y'all look. Hey, like you and I have talked about, for the guys that our parents watch, our dads watch, there ain't a lot of clips of that. Like, my dad swore by Oscar Robertson. Not a whole lot of clips for Oscar. There's clips for Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Google this stuff, man. Like, Google it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we got flag going here in a few minutes, and then unless Nico just loses his mind again and if he traded Luka, you never. I got to see it to believe it.
If I own the Mavericks, I would take his cell phone and be like, nah, everything you do got to come through me. We're not trusting you at all.
I mean, everybody assuming flag going to the Mavericks, but I mean, after the Luka trade, you can't assume anything with Nico Harrison.
Yeah. But speaking of trades, how you feel about KD?
I'm hopeful. There was, a lot of Rockets Twitter. Everybody was done with Jalen Green. I was thinking, like, give him another year. He's inconsistent, absolutely. Will he give you 37 one night and 7 the next? Yes. We saw that in the playoffs against the Warriors. He had that one great game. athleticism, just the dude just looks wonderful, and then he disappears for like 3 games. You're like, man, come on, Jalen. So I guess they felt, he just ain't gonna put it together. So okay, and if I'm a GM, I'm not Mr. Big aggressive gambling type. So it was weird. It was a weird spot they were in. You got all this young talent. You're building. You're improving. You won 52 games. Took the Warriors to 7 games. Do you part with some of that and bring in a star? Do you let it just marinate and just hope everybody progresses? I was in the camp. Give Jalen 1 more year. I didn't want Giannis. I wasn't. If KD's 33, I'm like, cool. He's gonna be 37. That just keeps scaring me. And he already had an Achilles back. We had talked about it back when they was playing Toronto in the finals. He tore his Achilles. So I'm thinking the mileage. He done. We're 3 or 4 years older. He done played in the Olympics. He done played in the playoffs. I was like, now we gonna get him in there. He gonna break down now that he with us. That's my fear.
Yeah.
But I hope he's healthy, and if it works, we cool. But
I love Kevin Durant because he got those 2 chips in Golden State, and it just looks like he just wants to play basketball. And he's like, I'm gonna go to Brooklyn. Yeah, I go to like. He just looks like, and I'm not knocking it. He's like, I just want to play ball.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, he hasn't averaged less than 25 a game since his rookie year. Mm-hmm. I know, past results don't determine future, whatever. But for him to come back and still be a 50, 40, 90 guy after the Achilles, and he doesn't get caught up in his back and forth. I love that he will just get in an argument with a random person on Twitter. Like, that's a relatable superstar.
Yeah.
Like, it feels to me like Kevin Durant is just like, I just want to hoop.
Don't come in and expect me to be the leader or all that. Just let me.
I just want to hoop.
Yeah.
And I respect that. He wants to hoop and he wants to get in arguments on Twitter. And that's pretty much me. That's like.
Yeah.
Because if you, because he's quote tweeting just these most random accounts, like you can just say, "Hey, Kevin Durant, how's it going?" And there's a chance he'll respond to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's the latest? He was going back and forth about what they had him, something about trying to diminish what he did with Golden State or something. And he was like, "Let's talk about it."
Well, because and the thing is, it can't just be, "Hey, you want a chip? Now we got to rank the champions." Colin Cowherd, I think it was Colin Cowherd, had the 2020 Lakers as the best team in the last 7 years. Like, I don't believe that.
I saw that. I saw you.
But yeah, like, I'm a Lakers fan. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Like, if you have to rank them, now look, I'm gonna enjoy that championship, but of the 11 I've seen in my lifetime, maybe this is top 10. Like, I don't know. Like, I would say probably if I had to rank them, I'd put the 2009 team below 2020, only because 2000 we beat the Magic, and
yeah.
But
Rashard Lewis and Jameer Nelson and
Hato Turkoglu and all those guys. Yeah, I'm familiar with the team, but that's not sexy to me. But beating Boston, beating Detroit, of course. But yeah, I don't believe the Lakers are better. Like, what?
The 2 against the Nets. I mean, what about Todd McCullough and all that?
It's only 1 against the Nets.
Oh, who was it? Pacers. Y'all went
Pacers,
Pacers or whatever.
Pacers, Philly.
Okay,
and then now I would put that 0-1 Lakers team against anybody ever. They only lost one time in the playoffs, and that was the Iverson game that Shaq fouled out of, and Kobe just couldn't get a shot. And Iverson went super. He did Popeye in a spinach can, and
did.
you know that part of it. Like the thing is, the reason that step over is iconic because that was the only game they won.
Mm-hmm.
If they lose that game, it's a cool moment, but it does add to it that was the game that they won.
Yeah.
And again, Dikembe Mutombo, God rest his soul, being as big as he was, getting backed up by Shaq. Shaq was a beast. But I would put that 0-1 because I mean that 0-1 team is the team that swept San Antonio out. Because there was a little bit of trash talk, Spurs, Lakers going into that 0-1 Western Conference Finals. Shaq showed up game 1, game 2 with 2 back-to-back 40-20 games, and they weren't even close.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I hear people like, "Oh, Tim Duncan won on Kobe," but Kobe, okay, but Kobe put him out. Kobe put him out too.
Yeah,
like, come on now, be honest. My only beef with Duncan is that he kept the Lakers from winning 2 or 3 more.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I ain't mad. I'm not a hater like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But good for the Rockets.
Yeah, and if he's healthy, I mean, Van Vliet is there to be the leader. He just re-signed, so he's your guy for that kind of stuff. Because KD ain't trying to be that. Amen Thompson is the young star. You still got a young and look, Reed should have opportunities. He is not part of the trade. I think he, could have chances to play a bigger role. So we'll see if he can take advantage of that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll go and watch some of this draft. Micah's really wanting to watch it. So I don't really, the draft. I'm not, but I'm gonna watch it with him because he's all about wanting to watch this one. So come over here and see who does what and where they all go. And man, what about this Ace Bailey kid that ain't talking to nobody, ain't interviewing, ain't working out? How he thinks he has leverage when you want to work for these people but don't want to.
You got to go to an interview if you want
a job. Yeah, I'm like, what are you? Weird, man.
Can I say it? These young kids.
Golly, man. I mean,
I don't want to watch the draft because some of these birth dates is closer to my girl's age. I should not be old enough to have a kid that can be drafted.
Ooh, yeah, there's that too. There's fears from Oklahoma right now. So yeah.
We'll go to it, watch this draft. As a Lakers fan, I'm not used to watching the NBA draft.
Right, yeah, I understand. There's no reason to. And y'all fixing to be actually ran like a business. So look out for, future Lakers transactions.
Absolutely. I'm excited about that.
I'm excited we had another show. And look, next week we're excited because listen up. We got Kentucky women's basketball player Deja Lawrence coming in here. Should be here to the start of the show next Wednesday. So y'all tune in and we'll chop it up with Deja. Year 2 under Kenny Brooks. So
I'll have to move around, put some of my women's basketball posters in the background.
Yeah,
I got a few. I didn't get a poster last year.
I don't think I did either. And I went to a game. Went up to the Alabama game at Memorial and still didn't.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. I dropped the ball, man. I'm slipping.
It happens because we old, but
hey, that's it. You said the truth out loud. Enjoyed it, man. Appreciate everybody watching. Thanks for everybody in the comments. Listening to be up on Spotify later. But appreciate y'all checking us out. Thanks to BS3 Network, Ben Sutter. Thanks to TB. This is Vinny. Next week, we'll be back at it. Deja Lawrence starting us off. Everybody have a good week. See y'all later.